Hi everyone. Welcome to Get Closer to God with Diana, God's daughter. If you have not subscribed to this channel, I encourage you to do so because I want us to go together on this journey of getting to know God closer. So today I am going to be sharing on persistent prayer. What really is persistent prayer? What is the importance of persistent prayer in the life of a believer? So before we go any further, I just want us to just describe what prayer is and what to persist is, just in simple words. So really, what is prayer? Prayer is conversation between God and man. Prayer is conversing with God, man talking to God. A conversation is a two-way street. One speaks, the other hears and responds, answers back. That's what a conversation is, and that's what really prayer is. So prayer is man talking to God, and God hears and answers back. Yes, so we're going to look at persistent prayer from the Bible. So in the book of Luke 18, verse 1 to 7, Jesus spoke a parable to the disciples that men always ought to pray and not lose heart. And he went on to talk about the parable of the persistent widow. So there was this judge who had no fear of God, and he respected no man. And then there was this widow who kept on going to him because she wanted him to give her justice from her adversary. So this widow continued going to this judge over and over and over. And when the judge saw that this widow was pestering him, he was like, let me just give her what she wants. And that widow got the justice that she wanted. Why? Because she persisted. She continued going to the judge in spite of the character of the judge. That judge did not fear God. He did not respect man. But because that widow kept on going to him, he gave her what she wanted. And Jesus went on to say, shall God not avenge his own elect who cry out day and night to him? Certainly not. So now, if the judge who did not fear God, if this judge who did not respect man was able to give this widow what she wanted because she persisted, because she continued going to him over what she wanted, she was determined to get what she wanted. What about God? Is he not going to give his own children what they want? Is he not going to answer them and give them what they want when they continue to go to him in prayer? Of course, he's going to do that. The Bible tells us in the book of Hebrews 11, verse 6, that God is a rewarder of those that diligently seek him. Okay, and the Bible in the book of 1 Thessalonians 5, verse 17 says, pray without ceasing. So Jesus was encouraging us that we should pray and not faint. We should pray and not give up. So which means there's a possibility of giving up. There's a possibility of fainting. But then he was encouraging us that we ought to pray and not faint. We need to keep on praying until we get what we want. The other person in the Bible who did persisted prayer was Hannah. Hannah was determined to get a child from God. She was determined. She kept on going to the house of God and just crying out to God in prayer for a son because her womb was closed. Hannah persisted in prayer, and at the end, we all know this story. She got the child that she wanted. God opened her womb and she had children. Why? Because she persisted in prayer. She was determined to get what she wanted to get from God. And so that's the attitude that we believers should have. We should never give up in spite of the challenges that we are facing, in spite of the opposition. We should never give up. We should persist. We should apply persistent prayer in our lives, in our daily walk. We should keep going on and on and on and on in prayer until what you want is released, until you get what you want. That's the only way you are going to get what you want, if you persist in prayer. If you keep on knocking on the doors of God, just keep on knocking, you are going to get what you want. There are times that you are praying and it seems like nothing is going to happen. You should not give up. You should not faint. Why? Because you want to get something from God. Because you've got an issue that only God can solve. So you need to keep on knocking. You need to persist in prayer and not give up. I remember one time in my life, I had this pain in my body. It was not going away. In spite of the drugs that I was taking and all, it was just not going away. And I realized that the only way I was going to get better is if I seek God. And what did I do? I began to seek God. And when I was praying, it looked like nothing was happening. The situation was not changing. The pain was just there. For 2 weeks, the pain was there, but I kept on praying because I wanted to get something from God, because I knew that it was only God that was going to help me. So I kept on praying in prayer, even when I did not see the results, even when I was still feeling the pain. I continued praying. I persisted in prayer. And one day I woke up and the pain was just not there. It was gone. Why? Because I persisted in prayer. So if there's an issue in your life, make sure you persist in prayer. In spite of how everything is looking, in spite of the issue looking like it's not going to change, don't give up. Just persist in prayer. Pray without ceasing. I just hope you have been blessed.